Okay. Jai Hind, I welcome you again to another session of national security. The subject that we are going to talk today is already displayed on the screen. It is today we complete 13 years after that deadly Pakistani terrorist attack on the economic capital of our country, that is Mumbai. 13 years we complete today. And I would very briefly recapitulate what happened on 26/11. 10 terrorists, including Kasab, started off from Pakistan. Somewhere halfway in between, they met an Indian fishing vessel called Kuber. They got into that Kuber vessel. They traveled through our territory in that Kuber vessel. Short of Kulaba, they changed their boats, came into a rubber boats, landed up on the fishing harbor of Kulaba, and from there they split themselves into 3 or 4 groups. They came to went to 3 hotels and the VT railway station, and thereafter 3 days that anti-terrorist operations were on. Finally, the National Security Guard arrived. 51 and 52 Special Actions Group took part in it, and 8 terrorists were killed in the hotels. One was captured, and one was killed by a person called Tukaram Obade, who was the ASI with Mumbai Police. So this was in brief, and it was a big setback as far as our coastal security was concerned. And while we're talking of coastal security, I must also mention that the sea has also been used as a medium for carrying out bomb blasts in our coastal areas, especially the economic capital of the country, like Mumbai. 1993 bomb blast. The material for the bomb blast was landed at Raigad, Shekhadi, from where it was brought to Bombay, and the rest was covered very well by the media as to how we lost very heavily. And thereafter, there have been number of blasts in which sea has been used as a medium. Now, after 26/11, while we complete 13 years, there has been no major terror attack from the sea, from the coastline. Okay, so at times one feels that maybe the threat is reduced. There are multiple reasons as to why no terror attack is taking place. One, of course, there has been a qualitative improvement in our coastal security. Second, we have been very proactive in dealing with Pakistan, and many reasons. But the fact remains that there are some other threats from the sea which continue today. And a few threats which come to my mind are basically the drug smuggling which is taking place from the sea. You saw drugs worth 3,000 crores coming in a port in Gujarat. The Coast Guard caught drugs at number of times in the Arabian Sea. And one fisherman recently has been shot dead by the Pakistani Maritime Security, the fisherman was from Palghar, from Maharashtra. And there are problems of poaching, there are problems of illegal trade, there are problems of smuggling, then there is the challenges of pollution at sea. Now, to talk on all these important issues of threat from the sea, threat from the coastal areas, we have a very distinguished Coast Guard officer, Additional Director General of the Coast Guard, Shri SPS Basra. I welcome Shri Basra to today's live session. Very briefly, I will tell you about his distinguished career. He has spent nearly 4 decades in the Coast Guard, and he's taken part in all the active operations which Coast Guard did, whether it was anti-terrorist operations, anti-infiltration operations, boarding operations at sea, etc. Coast Guard has number of vessels which they use, fast patrol vessels, advanced patrol vessels, air cushion vessels, etc. More of it he will tell you very briefly. So he's commanded all of them, plus he's commanded the western coast, and he was for a sufficiently long time number 2 in the Coast Guard, looking after the coastal security. He had a tenure also in our Fortress Command, that is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He is an expert on our other set of island territories like the Lakshadweep and Minicoy Islands. So I take this opportunity to welcome Shri Basra to our Facebook live session today, and I will request him that I have, while generally in a generic manner, told you about the threats that are existing today from the sea. I'll request him to enumerate this threat once again, the threats which we are facing from the sea. Shri Basra.
Good morning, Maharaj. and other participants, the sea borders or maritime boundaries, as they are called, they are fraught with disputes. They are difficult to demarcate and they are very porous. We have a very large sea area, approximately 2.01 square kilometer, to be covered and patrolled for the various eventualities. There are approximately 7,500 square kilometer of coastline. There are uninhabited islands. There are 13 major and non-major, 200 non-major ports. Majority of the industry is situated along the coast. And above all, almost 25 lakh plus fishing boats actively operate at any given time in the Indian Sea. In addition, as per seasonal changes, now if you take the present time, Indian fishermen from all over the coast, in fact, even from the east coast, they come and camp at in Gujarat areas, Okha, Jakhau, etc. And most of them venture into waters close to Pakistan, which is known for red snapper. In Hindi they call lal pari, which has its own export values. Similarly, in Parkway, Indian fishermen venture into Sri Lankan waters for the prawns, and in Andaman Nicobar, it is crisscrossing with other neighbors. These are few challenges, but they are humongous in nature, and the sets available are always will not be commensurate to patrol the whole area. So we have to basically focus on important issues.
Thanks a lot for your opening remarks. You have mentioned that the sea borders are porous. Today we share sea borders with Pakistan, with Bangladesh, with Sri Lanka, and many other people. By and large, the borders have been settled, unlike the borders with China, which are not settled. But what and you have also talked about large number of fishing vessels that we have which venture out into the sea. And we are definitely going to talk about these challenges which are posed because of very large number of fishing vessels. But I would want now to focus on two issues. One is there are certain areas which I would call it more vulnerable than other areas. And when I talk of vulnerable areas, I look at the Sir Creek area, which is between Pakistan and India, and a lot of illegal activities take place there. You have a vast experience of serving in those areas. Second area that I would like to focus upon, which you very briefly mentioned in your talk, is the Park Bay. That is the maritime boundary between India and Sri Lanka. Number of times we have a problem with Sri Lankans. Sri Lankans fire on a fisherman. Our fishermen have been killed, and number of drug seizures have taken place. A lot of terrorists have come. In fact, LTTE, when it was very active in the earlier days, used to use this area hell of a lot, and there were important operations carried out by the maritime agencies, including Operation Swan, Operation Tasha, etc. Of course, LTT is not functional anymore, but the smuggling does take place. And the third area which I would want you to focus upon is the Sundarban area. If you purely go by media reports, Sundarban for our viewers is an area where the Ganga and the Brahmaputra meet the sea, and we share one third of Sundarban is with us, two third is with Bangladesh, and there are multiple challenges as far as Sundarbans are concerned, including illegal Bangladeshi migration, including smuggling, including illegal trade, and there are media reports which talk about Bangladeshis having come in large number on the Orissa coast. So now may I request you to focus on these three areas and what are we doing to tackle the challenges in these three areas? Shri Basra.
Sir, all the three areas, whether you take Sir Creek, whether you take Parkway, or you take Indo-Bangladesh border, the issues are common. We lack fisheries control and monitoring system, monitoring control and surveillance system. Issues which continue to face us and stare us badly in our face despite large augmentation of force level with Coast Guard and other agencies. These are There is a non-fitment of transponders in almost all the fishing boats. Manning of fish landing centers and the points, they are not being manned where the landing takes place. So what goes out, what comes in is very difficult to monitor. Marine Fishery Regulatory Act needs to be modified so that fishermen report their position and Coast Guard in general or the Marine Police or Fishery Control Centers, they monitor their position. There is also a non-enactment of Central Fisheries Act, which has not yet been enacted despite large homework done on that aspect. There is a low serviceability of marine police boats. The close coast patrolling is very restricted at the moment. Other is the catch, which is available in plenty across the IMBLs, which I mentioned already, red snapper, I mentioned the prawn. Bangladeshi fishermen also venture into our waters, our fishermen also go to their water. The areas of concern are common, all the three states.
Yes, you made a mention about the challenges of fishing. And for the sake of viewers, I'll mention that the number of fishing boats today in the Indian waters is between 3 lakh to 4 lakh. The number is very, very large. Some of them, unlike our four-wheelers or two-wheelers, which have a registered number, some do not have registered number, some do not follow the code which has been given there. The strict discipline which is required to be followed that you talked about. There are landing points or there are fishing jetties from where they are supposed to come and they're supposed to come back there only, but they at times land up at a different place altogether. That part is very well taken. So now the biggest issue, as I see, is controlling the movement of these fishing vessels, which are there in a very, very large number. While most of the fishermen are, are patriotic in nature and will not do a wrong thing, but the fact remains that there is a small microscopic number of fishermen which do carry out illegal activities either knowingly or unknowingly. Because if any landing has to take place on the Indian coastline, there is no way a Pakistani boat can start from Pakistan and land up on the coast of India. It will have to have a cooperation from few fishermen. There's no doubt, and we have seen any incidents of security breaches which have taken place. Always fishing community was involved. So while we keep on talking about fishing fishermen being your eyes and ears, but practically the practicality of they providing you with some intelligence is not as much as it is desired. So I would want you to comment on two things: regulating the fishing traffic. We have been talking and talking about providing them with automatic identification systems. The cost has been very high. So government said we will give them at free of cost. Then we have that national automatic identification system which tracks their movement, etc. So please tell us about movement that is the progress that is taken place over regulating the fishing traffic, progress that is taken place on, let's say, building up modern fishing harbors, let's say, control at the landing point, the task that police is doing, etc. And in fact, today only there was only one item I saw in the newspaper about this 13th anniversary of 2611. I was scanning the newspapers and I saw one small statement by Shri Natarajan, who is the Director General of the Coast Guard, in which he talked about more than 300 security coordinating exercises have taken place after 2611. So please tell us about the security exercises also which take place regularly and what do we achieve. Over to Shri Basra.
Sir, in 13 years, we have come a long way. If there has been no breach of security to a greater degree after 2611, 2008, obviously some steps have been put in place. First of all, there is a large enhanced cooperation between almost all the agencies. And this is one issue for last 13 years, the regular coordination meeting, exercises, search and boarding operations. Fear of God has been put in the minds of the people that Coast Guard and other agencies are there to board them as they wish at the time they wish. There's a large-scale improvement in intelligence especially NTRO. The drug seizures, 600 crore by Coast Guard even when I was heading the Western Seaboard, 1,000 crore thereafter. Now lately 3,000 in the Gujarat coast. Obviously has been based on certain intelligence. Drug smuggling has been rampant and these were 3-4 major cases which have been dealt in the recent past. Coast Guard has been empowered now to carry out boarding and such vessels even outside the territorial and contiguous zone, within the exclusive economic zone, which power was not earlier available. So whenever there is suspect vessel, even a merchant vessel, we can check, stop it and board the vessel till that time we are satisfied with that. Color coding along the west and east coast is almost complete, though not 100%, we'll desire it. So we can recognize now which boat belongs to which state. They are different color code for different states. One regular thing at the level of Cabinet Secretary, National Committee for Monitoring the Coastal Security and other agencies is holding its meeting regularly and the stakeholders are all present there so that they can discuss the issues across board. There have been 2 cases of drug I told you mentioned. Even there have been cases of arms and ammunition recently captured by Coast Guard in the Minico Island and one more place. So intelligence-based operations are taking place. So this is, I won't say that it's a hunky-dory, everything is in order, but these are major factors which have definitely put a sense of security among the fishermen. And saying fishermen definitely report to us as and when suspicious vessel is seen by them. Regular exercises with them have been really a positive step and interaction as well as knowing to them is much better than what was earlier.
Yes, you mentioned about 2 things that the intelligence has improved and you carry out regular intelligence meetings once a month, I'm told, in which all the intelligence agencies come together and talk about threats that are likely to come up in the days to come, etc. Coast Guard has been nominated as the lead intelligence agencies. So kindly throw some light on what kind of intelligence meeting take place, what kind of actionable intelligence does come, and is there any further scope for improvement as far as sharing of intelligence is concerned? That is one issue I would want to talk about. And secondly, the radar coverage, as you mentioned, is complete now, and the radar coverage feed comes into your district Coast Guard headquarters. From there, it goes to the Joint Operational Center. From there, it goes to Gurgaon in the National NCCI Center, etc. So please tell me about the efficacy of Joint Operational Centers, the district headquarters, and the intelligence. Shri Basra.
Sir, as I mentioned that to say everything is 100% secure, it is very difficult in such a large scale area. The situation has definitely improved. The radar stations are working 24/7. The pickup is shared with all, even at with the naval war rooms, with the Joint Control Center now set up at Gurgaon at the national level. 24/7 radar operators man it and challenge the vessels which are closing our coast. Area of concern definitely remains those are small fishing boats which are not fitted with any transponder. Their pickup by radar is also not that much because of the small size and small cross-section area. That area of concern still exists, which is only factored through community policing. There is no other way until unless landing points are monitored 24/7, for which political will is essential. That lacuna still remains.
Yes, basically the reason why fishing vessels cannot be tracked is that the cost of the AIS, I'm told, is in the region of 25,000 to 30,000, 35,000, and the DRDO was working on a model which is cheaper. What I would want to ask is, can there not be an innovative solution to tracking of the fishing boats, because fishing boats is the biggest concern. And 2 things I have in mind. Number 1 is most of the fishermen who are going in the boats carry a mobile with them. Can the mobile not become an identity of that particular fishing vessel? That is one question I would like to ask. And secondly, today, if you look at tracking system, today Amazon parcel which comes to you from any place to any place can be tracked, And today, all the e-commerce companies, their parcel movement can be tracked. Can we not have a tracking mechanism? Like today, we have the wild animals, the tigers and lions and elephants and rhinos. They put a chip on them and they can be tracked. If we can track tigers and let's say elephants and whatnot to find out as to what route are they following, is it not possible to put these tracking devices on the fishing boat? Is there a practicality of it? Can you track the fishing boats in an innovative manner till the time you are able to give them AIS whenever you can give it? Shri Basra.
Sir, you are very right. But the problem is political will and the acceptance by the fishermen. This is one area of concern which continues to lure us. The moment you put all transponders on the fishing boats which operate from Okha and Jakhau, which is lakhs operate now present in Pakistani waters, especially during winter, these people will not be able to go there because their movements will be monitored. It is a lack of political will as well as the acceptance by the fishermen, or you have to have an alternative mode of some economic living for them. The fishermen associations in Okha, Jakhau, they are literally looked after by certain very high profile and rich people. For catching the catch of red snapper, they are given incentives to the tune of even a motorcycle and a refund and a low grade housing. These are the incentives which are given to fishermen. The incident which take place, we say that fishermen across from Maharashtra was killed by the Pak MSA. I can quite say with authority that these incidents do not take place inside our IMDL because 24/7 there is a ship patrolling on the IMDL along the Pakistan, Bangladesh or Sri Lanka.
Okay, you have spoken about the political will, states not willing because fishermen not willing for many reasons, including some unlawful activities which they must be carrying out, which they don't want to be noticed, etc. The point is well taken. In as far as the coastal security is concerned, the coastal states, and there are 9 states of them, and I believe there are 4 union territories, have a very important role to play to ensure that the coastal security is foolproof. Now, I would want you to comment on which states are cooperating better, which states are doing a better job of carrying out foolproof coastal security. There are 9 states. Your comments on that, that is one issue. And secondly, I would also want you to comment on the other agencies. Especially the 2 most important agencies that are involved in coastal security. One, of course, is the coastal police of the coastal states. And second, of course, is the Indian Navy. Your comments on the cooperation with them, your comments on can they do anything better? So states and the other agencies, especially police and the Indian Navy.
So Navy and Coast Guard, the cooperation at the highest level is the best available for last few years which I have seen. As far as intelligence exchange is concerned, there may be earlier times when person used to keep intelligence with himself and take action. Presently, there is nothing like that. Intelligence is shared across the platform, whether it is Marine Police or the Navy or the Coast Guard, even Customs and DRA, etc. Because Customs also got a marine wing. The issues definitely which you are mentioning, fishing control is the one thing. Sri Lanka is the only nation which close to us has got the best MCS. Their boats, even which they operate of Reunion Island something, they are monitored 24/7 by their Fisheries Control Center and Negombo. Their fishing boats are of one size, one shape, equipment fit is common for all. Even when we apprehend Sri Lankan vessels within India, when they see the Coast Guard ship, they know they are going to be apprehended. The information to Sri Lankan fishing control reaches before even we apprehend them. We have to have a monitoring MCS system for the fisheries if we want proper foolproof security in our country. That's only one point of concern which continues even when I was in service, and I checked up even it continues even today when I retired about 5 years back.
Yes, you have mentioned about Sri Lankan fisheries control system being better than us, and they're doing a much better job than us. As far as coastal security is concerned, there are many coast guards in the world, including the American Coast Guard. Pakistan has a coast guard, but they call it something different. China has a coast guard. Maybe can we take up some best practices from the coast guards of advanced countries, and especially I'm talking about USA or England. I believe their coastal security is of a much higher order because of use of technology, use of many other things. So are there any best practices that we can pick up from other coast guards who are doing a better job of guarding the coast? Shri Basra.
The Indian Coast Guard is formed on the lines of US Coast Guard, except that that's under the Homeland Security. This is under Ministry of Defense. Coast Guard has been formulated after studying the pros and cons of various organizations across the board. That is, I don't think there's any need of concern as far as Coast Guard working is concerned. It has got the best practices for the last almost now going to be 50 years by 2027. This service has really grown and matured. Our issues remain with the state government because fisheries is a state subject, it is not a central subject. Fisheries, Central Maritime Fisheries Act, we wanted all fishermen should come under that, but states are reluctant to bring the fishermen under that. Even fishermen are also reluctant to come under that. So this is the issue which remains, which I think there is no immediate solution to this unless fishermen themselves feel the necessity that they are part and parcel, and they also need to limit their operation within the Indian water, then yes, definitely we can make improvement. Otherwise, as far as UK model is concerned, UK model is not very healthy, sir, because they have got just a very small coast guard. I think last when I know about 4 or 5 years back, they just had 4 ships or something to guard their coast. Unfortunately, they don't have the issues which we are confronting. Their fishing boats are monitored. They are got well equipped. They are 24/7. Most of the country monitor their fishing activities. Unfortunately, we are not able to do this. This is a, you can say, sad state, whatever you wish to say. But because of their livelihood, fishing is part of agriculture and it is a state subject. It is very difficult to do any rules, center rules into that.
It is reassuring to know that we are following the best practices as are being followed in the world. What I would want to tell you now is the Indian Coast Guard has grown in strength. You have assets at the sea, you have assets in the air. So briefly tell us the kind of ships that you have, the kind of roles that they do. And please also tell us some of your operational experiences that you had in your long service. Shri Basra.
So as far as Coast Guard air wing is concerned, it has got both fixed wing as well as rotary wing aircraft. Air wing is used for surveillance, which is quite a regular patrol along the sensitive borders, definitely every day. Otherwise, they're random air surveillance. Helicopters are being utilized for basically search and rescue missions. Bad weather, number of lives have been saved in very difficult conditions. As far as ships are concerned, Coast Guard has pollution control vessels, 3 of them. 2 are on the west coast, 1 is on the east coast, which was even, if you must have read, they are involved in large-scale pollution response effort, especially of Sri Lanka coast in last year, when 2 of merchant ships were collided. Next layer is advanced offshore patrol vessels, which carry ALH with a range of almost patrolling up to about 20 days. Below that is OPVs, which are now being slowly phased out, and that also being taken over by OPVs. For close coast surveillance, we have got inshore patrol vessels or fast patrol vessels, which are about 45 meters in length, which can remain out at sea 4 to 5 days, which patrol close coast up to about 50 miles, though there are no restriction per se. For Sir Creek areas, for Parkway areas, for Bangladesh border, for your areas of concern, Coast Guard has got a step much ahead. We have got air cushion vehicles, which are based at all the sensitive positions. So Coast Guard does surveillance even within the creeks. In fact, Mumbai itself has got 2 ACVs which operate in the creeks close to this New Mumbai, etc. In fact, they've got a parking station there. So Coast Guard has done a lot of investment into this, and this is paying dividend, and we are visible out at sea to almost everyone.
Most of the Coast Guard vessels are made in India itself. So I think as far as Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is concerned, I think Coast Guard can say that most of their vessels are made in India. And even the maintenance is also being done by the Indian, let's say, industry and Coast Guard, etc. So maybe a bit on that. And secondly, please tell us as to what are the plans in future as far as the Coast Guard is concerned in terms of acquisition of ships, various kind of vessels, and of course, training establishments. Basaraj.
So Coast Guard, almost all the ships except ACVs, they are built within Indian shipyards. Earlier it was MDL, then there has been a GRSC, and then there has been Goa Shipyard, which is a major contributory for last few years. The maintenance is not only done by these shipyards, maintenance is also done by certain private agencies. L&T is the latest, which have built IPVs as well as interceptor boats and AOPV for the Coast Guard. So as per shipbuilding concerned, is not an area of concern at the moment. And we have large number of vessels under acquisition under process as per the Coast Guard development plan. Exact number I am not able to mention because I am not in the know at this stage.
Okay. Now we have about the last 3-4 minutes remaining, and I'll only ask you 2 more questions and your opinion on that. One is the government is now sort of given to the media that we have been long talking about a national maritime security advisor is required to command and control various agencies, various government departments, various security agencies for a better coastal and maritime security. But instead of agreeing to a national maritime security advisor, they are now establishing a post of national maritime security coordinator. And media reports say that possibly an officer of the rank of a vice admiral serving or retired will be nominated. That is what is the report that has come in media. It came 3-4 months back, and even now, just about yesterday, it has been talked about. So please offer your comments on National Maritime Security Coordinator. That is one thing. And secondly, what else? One of the important agencies for coastal security is the Coastal Police. And there are reports that some areas they need to improve. So what is that you would want them to improve upon? These 2 comments, can you comment upon? Shri Basra.
So Coastal Police only problem is that after serving few years, these people go and join the normal policing work again. The policing out at sea is definitely a little more professional job than moving on the land. So they have to create like a commandos are there. They have to create a cadre within the police itself, which is doing their job as per the coastal security concern. They get the expertise, they do their training, they do their courses on the line Coast Guard is doing. So it has to develop as such. Some places are definitely, Tamil Nadu was the first one doing good progress. Maharashtra started off late last 4-5 years. So this depends on how the DGP and other people deal with it. There is no uniform yardstick as the coastal states are concerned. As far as your second question is maritime security advisor or coordinator, somehow I personally feel you are only adding one more layer. Is he going to be held accountable or responsible if another 2611 takes place? Will his head roll? If yes, please definitely have. If he is going to be just advisor and no accountability responsibility, I am afraid it is not going to improve the situation. Coordination itself at the moment is at the peak level. It will be only adding another layer. That's my view, personal view, not the view of Coast Guard headquarters.
Yes, there were many other options available. Maybe the DG Coast Guard himself could have been made national coordinator. Maybe one of the naval chaps, naval vice chief could have been made. And I'm just letting my ideas run wild. Maybe some other things. Okay, but before we close, there's just one issue that I would want you to cover, and that is the security environment of our island territories. And of course, Andaman, this island territories actually can be a separate subject by itself. But very briefly, tell us about the poaching that takes place, the electronic recce that takes place there, both in Andaman Nicobar Islands as well as the Lakshadweep and Minicoy Islands.
So Andaman Nicobar is a full regional headquarters of Coast Guard from the very beginning. It has been given due importance. A lot of poaching takes place, especially from Myanmarese, Thai, Indonesian. And Coast Guard has been in the forefront from that point. It has set up a district headquarters at Campbell Bay. It has set up a district headquarters at Diglipur. It set up a district headquarters in Mayabandha. So Coast Guard is expanded in the islands. It suffered huge losses during the tsunami. Its bases were washed off, but everything is back on track within a very short spell of time. As far as Lakshadweep is concerned, Coast Guard definitely had a very rudimentary structure about 10 years back. But presently, we got a district headquarters at Kavaratti, which is full-fledged operational and set up. There's a station at Minnikoy. There's a station up north. So Coast Guard has made inroads and there's a regular service which takes place. There's a ship deployed 24/7 in Lakshadweep area, as well as north, as well as southern Andaman group. So I don't think we are having any problem. We are ready to face any challenges which come us in future, and we are meeting them as at present.
Okay, much as we would want to continue with the conversation, but there are restrictions of time. So the last question that I would want you to ask is, coastal security has definitely improved over a period of time. There's no doubt on this issue. But is there something more? What else can be done to improve it further would be my last question to you, Shri Basra.
So active response from the states to become a stakeholder in the coastal security. If they can control their fisheries, I can assure you coastal security will jump by 300 times. Just with one action of monitoring and restricting the fishing vessels within the area which lies within the Indian EEZ and putting transponders on them. There is nothing else. This is one factor which has been, we have been scratching our heads, but not made much headway at any place.
Thanks a lot, Shri Basra. Your discussion with you was illuminating, and I'm sure our viewers would have benefited by this discussion. All that remains for me now to say is thanks a lot, Shri Basra, and maybe some other time, some other environment, we will have another session with you. And to the viewers, if you have liked this discussion, please like it on the Facebook. In a short while, we will put it on the YouTube also. Please like it on the YouTube and try and share it with as many people as possible. Because one important thing is 7,600 kilometers of coastline, 20% of population remaining near the coastline. If they become our eyes and ears, if they are aware of threats from the sea, they can really help the security agencies in performing their jobs better. So thank you very much. And thanks a lot, Shri Basra, once again.
It is an honor to attend, sir. Thank you so much. Grateful.
Thanks a lot and Jai Hind again.